Good morning. It is Friday, October 4th, and here is our reading for the 4th through the 6th for this weekend. This weekend is likely to be a bit rough. We are really closing out cycles, right? So we just came off of the South Node solar eclipse in Libra. That is definitely letting go of things like people pleasing and relationships that don't allow you to be yourself and things of that nature. So now the moon is in Scorpio, where it is going to be until about 5:30ish Sunday evening. So pretty much all weekend long, we have the moon in Scorpio bringing intense emotions, transformation, and quite honestly, sometimes that obsessive nature as well can be part of this. Now that means that Pluto is in charge all weekend long, and Pluto is in its last week of its retrograde in Capricorn, and this is the last time that's ever going to happen in our lifetimes. So there is going to be this huge push over the weekend to really kind of let go of things, get rid of the old stuff in your life that doesn't belong there anymore, that's going to hold you back in the future. We're breaking down old cycles, old patterns, old boundaries, old foundations, and things of that nature. So there's really a push this weekend to focus on yourself and what you need for your next cycle in life, for your next phase, and letting go of everything else. Now, what else is happening this weekend is this grand trine that's been happening between Saturn retrograde in Pisces, Venus in Scorpio, and Mars in Cancer, that's like unfolding. Venus is starting to make those aspects that's perfecting those trines. First to Saturn, which happens today, like right now as I'm doing this. That's one thing that you're going to start seeing unfold, where you've got like karmic lessons, karmic rewards, punishments, also boundaries being tested, and especially emotional boundaries being tested, and Venus getting into like a weird obsessive nature, right? And then Mars over in Cancer, it's going to make that trine perfected Sunday evening. So we're going to be seeing this build up between that Venus that's getting weird and obsessive with Mars in Cancer that's super protective of its emotional state, family, and things of that nature. So essentially, we've got wide open doors that are happening between very unhappy planets in our signs of emotions. So this weekend is going to see some really odd unfolding that's going to require letting go of things and focusing on what you want for your future, paying attention to your intuition. You are going to see boundaries tested. You're going to see some karma popping up. You're going to see a lot of people trying to avoid their own karma, trying to double down on things like manipulation and throwing people under the bus and like it wasn't me type of energy, right? When they get caught in things, like it's just a rough weekend overall, okay? However, on the surface, it might actually feel kind of good, right? So there's actually this over the top energy is all emotional and hey, let's talk about it. Let's get things out in the open. Let's fix this, right? But the underlying energy here is, are they really being honest? Are they really wanting to fix things? Or are they just trying to not, trying to avoid things? Are they trying to avoid their own karma, right? Now, on Sunday, actually today, Mercury is still a little bit in a quincunx with Saturn, so there's like a little shift in those conversations. And then on Sunday, Sun is going to quincunx Saturn. So this is really, by the time we get to Sunday afternoon, we're really looking at that like crossroads moment of whether you're going to go your way or you're going to go their way, right? What are you going to release? Are you going to release your dreams and your future and what you want, or are you going to release the person who's trying to keep you from doing those things? But really, surface level, feels good, very emotional, very loving, very, hey, let's talk about stuff. Let's spend some time together. Sunday evening, Venus will be moving into that trine with Mars. It can go hot and heavy, or it can go violent. If you are in a domestic violence situation, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself over this weekend. You are protecting yourself. Take a road trip, get out of Dodge if you can, because that trine opening up, especially with Pluto being retrograde in Capricorn, there can be some major pushback from people that have violent tendencies to try to keep their family together, or to try to not be emotional or whatever. Like they'll show their emotion as anger rather than emotion, right? So really be careful over the weekend when it comes to having these conversations. If you have to have the conversation, do your best to have it maybe over the phone rather than in person, if you know that the other person might have some violent tendencies, okay? So all that being said, energy of the weekend is King Cups. So there is all of this water energy in the air. There is this, hey, let's go spend some time together. Let's talk about it. And it has a very a mature type of vibe to this emotional level, right? So you're seeing people come at you to talk in a more mature level, but bottom of the deck is that Seven of Swords, right? So that all is not what it seems here, right? There's some shadiness afoot going on under the surface, right? Really make sure that you are listening to your intuition this weekend, okay? I am finding oftentimes if the astrology is not necessarily hitting you dead on in your natal chart, this may not actually show up as a person coming in intentionally trying to do something to you, okay? This is sometimes can show up as like just something that happens that like steals your peace of mind, right? So there can be things that come up that really kind of drags you down a bit, and it feels like the progress that you've made is backtracking on you, okay? So keep that in mind. It could create like a vulnerable situation where somebody else has the ability to come in and be like, hey, I'll help you, I'll take care of you, type of stuff, okay? So really keep that in mind as well. What we need to focus on is the Queen of Wands. What are you manifesting? What have you manifested that you are really wanting to build? I know things have gotten very frustrating with Pluto retrograde because it feels like you're getting nowhere, right? Because it's not really time to move forward on those foundations. It's time to tear down the ones that weren't working. So we still need to focus on what that end goal is. Make sure that you are paying attention to what needs to be let go of so that you can get to that manifestation. What is it that you are creating for you, okay? What we're avoiding is the Three of Cups. We're not going to go out escaping reality here. Don't go out and drink yourself stupid. Don't go out and try to party it away. Don't go out and, make sure that you are staying here in reality. You are facing the emotions that are coming up. You are paying attention to your intuition. If it's telling you to get out of a situation, get out of that situation. But overall, the energy of this weekend is there's a lot of kindness in the air, but that kindness might not be rooted in real things. It could be very much rooted in nefarious means or escapism or victim complex and things of that nature. So just be very conscious of what's happening around you, how the people around you are behaving, and make sure that you're focusing on your goals and you're staying here in reality while you're doing it. Okay, clarifiers for our King of Cups. King of Cups is the energy of the weekend. Yeah, I am not a fan of this weekend, like, at all. I think we've got a rough, at least week ahead of us. All right, we have Three of Wands, Yeah, at least a rough week. Man, got King of Swords. All right, Three of Wands, Page of Pentacles, and King of Swords here. Nine of Swords on the bottom. So it's like there's this King of Cups energy is out here trying to help everybody, right? King of Cups is like that dad energy that always has the right advice, that's always trying to take care of you, right? My dad's a Scorpio, and he's very, very King of Cups type of energy, always wanting to take care of you, always wanting to help you, always wanting to give that good advice, right? But it's like there's this energy of like, hey, things are coming in, things are wrapping up, right? Like we're starting to see some type of rewards for what we're doing or whatever. But there's this Page of Swords, or this Page of Pentacles, which is slowing down and really like paying attention and learning from the situation. It's almost like it's a false thing because the King of Swords is still here. It's like King of Cups doesn't really get what he's wanting to get out of being kind, so he starts being a dick, right? Like this, we go from, oh my gosh, we've all been on this one, right? We go from love bombing to narcissism, right? Like if King of Cups isn't getting what he wants, then he's going to start tearing you down. He's going to start saying the ugly things, right? Because there is such a slow energy with Scorpio that we need to slow down and learn, right? And we need to make sure that we're paying attention to the details and things when we're in Scorpio. So it really feels like with this Nine of Swords on the bottom, yeah, somebody might be coming off as very loving, very kind, very helpful, but that under the surface, and I'm not saying all Scorpios are like this. I have several Scorpio placements myself. Scorpio can be incredibly healing energy. It can be very helpful energy, very loving. But when Scorpio is unhealed and not getting its way, it can actually turn very narcissistic, okay? It can turn very shady, very ugly, and very obsessive, okay? So it may feel like things are coming in. Maybe you really wanted somebody to come back around. Maybe you're really wanting a relationship. Maybe you're really wanting those connections with others, friendships. But right now is not the time to be focusing on those. Right now is the time to be focusing on yourself. So when you're trying to chase something that the universe is trying to take away from you, and it's not working out, a lot of times we'll revert into that unhealed space where we start just running our mouth and we start saying some kind of nasty things, okay? So overall energy is like I said, feels good on the surface, but not so great underneath, right? With that Nine of Swords on the bottom, it's almost like there's some kind of trauma trigger. And this energy actually gives me very much trauma triggering type of energy with Venus and Scorpio making these aspects to Saturn and Mars. It's like there's a trauma trigger just laying just under the surface that when the King of Cups energy isn't being received in the way it wants to be received, it then becomes the negging and the tearing you down and the gaslighting and all of that stuff too, okay? So watch out for that over the weekend when you start seeing offers of help, okay? So let's pull some clarifiers for our Queen of Wands. We're focusing on the Queen of Wands. I hope this isn't too rambling. I know my mind's a little scattered this morning. There's that Nine of Swords again, okay? Feeling like things have gotten, it's like almost like things were good for a little while, or at least you, and the devil, jeez Louise, and the Tower, holy molies. Okay, so and this is something that's kind of been playing out in my personal life here. Is like I was feeling really, really good, right? And still feeling like I'm on the right path, and then boom, something happened that almost made me like, I caught myself, but I started to go back into this space of anxiety. And like I started letting the anxiety control me, right? But I kind of sat with it for a minute and went, wait a minute. This is a cycle. This is one of the cycles that I need to break, right? Because it was about money and Saturn, or what's that? Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. We're tearing down those old like hustle culture type of energies where you have to have money all the time. You have to be making money all the time, right? But it's like there's some kind of anxiety where you think like you feel like things are out of your control. You feel like somebody else is pulling the strings, the universe is pulling the strings, whatever. It feels like you have zero control. So it's almost like you're hitting this breaking point where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to let this control me anymore. I am going to create my own destiny. I'm going to create my own future. I'm going to follow my dreams. That is one of the lessons of Saturn retrograde in Pisces is, are you willing to put in the work to build your dreams, to follow your own dreams, right? Or are you going to let everyone else control you? Are you going to let victim mentality control you? Are you going to let savior mentality control you? That is also another thing with that. So there could definitely be like a tower moment that happens, whether that's an aha moment or it's something actually happens that sets you in this like state where anxiety or depression is controlling you. There's like a little breaking point in there where you're like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm changing the way things are, and you're going to start putting in the work to create something, okay? Clarifiers for our Three of Cups. Why are we avoiding our Three of Cups? This weekend it's a rough one. I may just stay home. Clarifiers for our Three of Cups. All right, we have Two of Cups in the Chariot with the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom here. If you are trying to escape reality through drugs, alcohol, partying, whatever, well, FYI, that is also another lesson involved with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, is escaping reality, particularly through substance use, okay? So it's like if you're out here trying to avoid reality and you want to go out and you want to have fun, and trust me, I'm a big fan of going out and enjoying yourself when things are too hard, but sometimes we really have to just buckle down and face it and deal with it, okay? You can't run from it forever. And because we are in the last bits, this last phase of this, we really need to face it. We really need to deal with it. So if you're out here trying to avoid it by going out and having a good time and partying and, escapism, you're more than likely going to end up giving in to whoever it is that's pulling the King of Cups energy on you, okay? Again, there's some really nefarious kind of underlying energy, and you've really got to deal with that head on. Knight of Pentacles on the bottom. Move slow, move deliberate. Make sure that you are focusing on what it is that you're growing for yourself, and you're not allowing other people's projections and their desire to escape their own reality to pull you away from what it is that you are trying to build and create. Especially if you see something happen this weekend that sends you into a vulnerable state where it could open up that door for somebody to come in and pull you away from that. Really, really pay attention to the energies around you, the people around you, how they're talking. Pay attention to their past behaviors. Really make sure that you're focusing on yourself and what you need this weekend.